Hey guys, welcome to Pop 411, your weekly podcast for all things pop culture. I'm Ireland.
I'm Carlos.
What's up? So, welcome to our podcast. We will be doing these twice a week
Twice a
here right now at Pop 411. You're going to get your weekly trend team, which will be dropping on Mondays, and then you will be getting
A variety of
a
different cool
variety
podcast
show at the
episodes.
end. But we're going to start off with, for those of you who can't see, I have this handy dandy, large, fat notebook here that I have personally labeled the Death Notebook, packed full of decade
Ooh, a whole
of
decade.
a decade
Ooh, yeah.
of fantastic stories, secrets.
There's tea.
Lots and lots of tea, a lot of cunty, as well as receipts.
Ooh, bring the receipts.
Because I am tired of being silent, and a decade is a long time
It's a long time
to be collecting. And I'm the collector. So we're going to be highlighting some of that stuff.
Oh, that's going to be really fun.
Oh, no one is safe.
No. Ooh.
Nobody.
Dang. That sounds really cool.
Right? Here I am dressed as a horicorn. I mean, a unicorn. Who's sweating like a whore on Sunday
You're
church.
very, very colorful.
Right?
Yeah.
So, this notebook is packed pretty solid. Like I said, nobody's safe. The list and range of subjects and conversation pieces we can have is very long and distinguished, kind of like my Ghost Johnson. For those of you who don't know, it's like my Phantom Dick. Okay? My Cockosaurus.
Oh, mercy. We're also going to be bringing on guests for our podcast as well, right? I mean, I'm sure
we're going to submit to other people to this torture. Fantastic.
Yeah, that's going to be really fun too.
I'm very excited for this.
Me too. As you can see, we have a lot of fun.
I have kidnapped you, you stranger, and I have tossed you into my... I don't even know what to call this. For those who can't see, this room is littered with a combination of about 75% plush.
And some hentai and some Funko.
That's hidden behind Blackface Pikachu. But it's got a lot of gaming reference points to it. There's a lot of statues. Clearly, if you can't tell, I am not a fan of Final Fantasy. Considering all the Moogles and Chocobos behind you from a mixed array of Square Enix US edition and Square Enix Japan. A lot of imports over there floating around by a lot of TCG stuff. Pokemon galore. Trying to look through here on this this plethora of nerdom back here. Yeah, I've kidnapped you and have locked you in this nerd closet, basically.
Yes.
Welcome.
Oh, well, thank you. I didn't have a choice, but
you can come, but you never can leave.
You can never escape. Sorry.
Roll a 20 for initiative.
See, this is how we get, right? So we'll start. And this is one of the reasons why we decided to actually do this podcast, right? Was because when we get together, we talk about a bunch of different topics that are related to pop culture, from movies to games to comic books.
Every time we shoot, we literally spend, I think, 20 minutes shooting, maybe 30 minutes shooting if it's just like one outfit or something, or like one costume, and the rest of the time we're yapping.
Yeah, we're talking about all kinds of different things. And that's why our photo shoots last a long time, because we're just in between, shoots or costume changes. We go off on.
And I've never done a podcast. I've done one interview once.
Oh.
And I have literally on purpose never done a podcast.
Well, let's talk about that.
Oh, you want to dive right into this?
Let's just go. Let's just go right there.
You want me to give you some deets?
Yeah,
huh?
I want to hear why you've only done one podcast, because I mean you're out there in the public. You've done a lot of really cool stuff. You're costuming. You're doing some amazing creative stuff. I would imagine that you would have been out on a many podcasts.
I've been asked to do quite a few. I'm not gonna lie. It's always pretty awkward, honestly. And it was one of those things that would, my management team would fume that I wouldn't do podcasts. And there's a horrifying reason to it, to be quite honest with you. diving in the notebook here, this
Mm.
death notebook. Let's just pull out some juicy details. So when I first started doing conventions, which was, like I said, about a decade ago, but 2013, 2014, I was helping out a lot of now well-known artists. I mean, at the time they weren't known, but they weren't as prominent in the industry as they are now. And I would do a lot of things for them where I would give them reference material to draw for covers. Like if their character needed to pose a certain way or if it needed to wear a specific outfit, then I would put that together and do that pose so they could capture it.
Oh, that's cool.
One artist in particular, whom I love the art style with, is Jamie Tyndall, who would do stuff for Zen Scope and then Teenage Mutant
Jamie
Ninja Turtles
Tyndall.
and then go through things like
Love
that.
Jamie Tyndall.
Right?
Amazing.
Jamie's awesome. So I helped him out a lot with kind of doing the posing because some artists just don't know how muscles work, the anatomy. So when they go to draw something or like, in a battle stance or a pose, it doesn't look right because they're not it's not real.
Right.
They have the elbow flared out here. It just doesn't bend that way. So I had literally went over, we had a studio. I did a bunch of different shots that he could use as reference points. He was working with a lot of things as far as like he did a few Lady Death covers. He did some stuff for Zenscope, and some of those just, required specific theme wear, bikini stuff that I was already making for like the WBFF, the World Beauty Fitness Federation.
Ooh.
So that's kind of like the theatrical version of the IFBB. So it's all still in the fitness
Is that the one
industry.
where they do skits, but they have costumes as they're
So
doing
it's
a
actually
skit
a $1 to $2
as part
million
of a
dollar.
competition?
Yeah, it's a $1 to $2 million production.
Oh.
And every contestant or every competitor that goes to compete has to have theme wear. So they have to go in, and they actually have to have this costume and outfit, and they've got to enact the character kind of while they're on stage. So there's theater to it. I mean, they rent out theaters, large theaters. The lighting is appropriate theater and stage lighting. So it's not just doing it at a school gymnasium
Right.
like you see some of the qualifying things for your pro cards and stuff at your competitions, but it's actually like it's a full production. They have people there for lights, they have people there for sound. So it's a big event.
Yeah, it's no joke.
Yeah, it's no
it's
joke.
real. It's legit.
Yeah, it's like Victoria's Secret, but very, very dumb mommy like whole physique. So it's quite nice. So I went. We shot a bunch of those stuff, and as a thank you, Jamie took some of those photos that we had shot that he had used for covers and made me prints, like 11 by 17 poster size prints that artists normally carry of their design, to have at New York Comic Con because 2013, I think, was the first New York Comic Con. 2013 was the first New York Comic Con I had ever been to. So it was kind of like a thank you gift. So I was very excited. After this, so we're going into 2014, I was approached by a group of guys that was like, hey, we're putting together kind of this cool interview. We're interviewing people in the community. It's when people were doing blogs.
Oh, right.
And they would do like voice memos to their blogs because this was before podcasting, like before it was like a thing, kind of like similar to what you do like on a radio station interviews. But this was through Skype.
Oh.
Okay, not to date this off, but like this is where the technology
you went on a Skype
was.
Call.
No, we're not Skype call.
Oh,
That was not video, thankfully. It was just voice Skype call. And I was like, yeah, we had agreed to said topics that we would converse about. Because I'm not going to go in there blindly, of course. And we agreed upon it. So when the day came and I go and set up this Skype call to do this voice, literally like right before the call, the main guy emails me and goes, hey, the other guy who is going to partner in with me on this normally is out sick. So we have one of our other guys
Gonna fill in.
And I was like, okay, we're still sticking to the agenda. And he's like, yeah, we're still sticking to the agenda. Same thing, same questions. He's just going to fill in.
Okay, so you got a topic list of questions ahead of time.
And I knew what we were answering and, what we were going on. Everything was fine. And he's like, yeah, we're sticking to that same game plan. He's just going to, be my co-host on this. Okay, no big deal. We get on this Skype call. And right out of the gate, this guy comes for me. I mean, like, you might as well just chucked that fucking agenda right out the goddamn window. He literally called me everything but a girl. He
Wow.
already had a pre-existing misconception of me based upon one of the photos that Jamie had turned into a print for me. And it was literally like a full coverage, Spider-Man bikini that I had made. And of course, with my red hair and stuff, it was just kind of do the Mary Jane thing. And it
Hmm.
was like, something for Zinscope, and which is independent, comic publisher.
What did he
And
tell
he
you?
literally goes, "Oh, so you're a cosplayer?" And I said, "I'm a costume designer and I wear my costumes sometimes. Like, I just started." And he's like, "Do you think it is appropriate for you to wear a bikini to a public convention in front of kids,
Mm.
in front of parents?" Like, he went on this whole tangent. And I think, again, because you see someone who's in shape, who has curves, who handles themselves in a confident stance, according to this picture, you automatically are either threatened or you're like, this cunt, this stripper,
Yeah.
this whore. You know what? He literally had that in his head. And he was like, "How dare you? I have a young daughter
Oh
and you wear
man.
this to a convention, and I don't want her to be subjugated to this type of
Filth.
attire being worn, and it's not family friendly." And I think this went on for over 5 minutes, and I just sat there and I'm like, the main guy should have muted the mic or
You
something,
should
like
have
should
said
have just
something
end
to
the
him. Yeah.
call, something, nothing. And I was like, okay.
Did you go, oh hell no?
Nah, in the back of my head I did, but I knew this was going to be on the internet.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
the professionalism kicks in, and I'm like, he thinks I'm fucking dumb.
Mm.
He thinks I'm a bimbo. He thinks I'm either going to take it or I'm going to break down and cry.
Right.
Or, "Oh my God, you outed me. Yes, I'm a stripper at Cheetos." We expected something like that.
That's what he wanted.
That's what he wanted.
Mm.
He wanted that validation that he
Right.
was right.
Right.
And I would just wait for him to get done. And I said, "Excuse me." When there was a pause, I was like, I don't want to be out of line or rude, but are you finished? And he was like, "Yeah, I'm done." I was like, "Are you sure? I just want to make sure because I don't want to respond and you like not be done yet. Like, make sure. Let me get double,
Yeah.
affirmation that you are done." And he was like, "Yeah, no, I'm good." And I said, basically, in summation, I was like, I understand where you see that is inappropriate for convention. I said, oddly enough, I agree with you, which is why I've never worn a bikini to a comic convention. Oddly enough, I have not. And I said, and just to let you know for the record, I don't intend to ever, unless it is a bikini, like Colossal Con themed convention.
Yeah.
Other than that, everything I've ever worn has been family friendly, even still to this day. Everything has been canon. And even things such as like Vampirella, I always wear a cape. I always have someone covering the back because you don't want someone to come through and your cape get caught on like a stroller or something,
Sure.
or someone's Velcro, and there's more of a butt cheek than people want to see.
Right.
Even though it's like
But it's still a retro costume.
it doesn't matter. You still have to think about that,
right.
because people would let it slide if you were on the bigger side.
Mm.
But if you're more on the fit side, they come for you. They come for you and they say you did it on purpose. And then we get into the whole fit shaming. So let's not go there. I'm doing it on purpose. I'm soliciting something else. Like, let's just forget that this is replica canon, whatever. So I would just basically told him, like, that's your daughter. I understand that. I have nieces and nephews. Okay. And I was raised a little differently. And I said, I would never do that. I said, what you subjugate your daughter to is on you.
Mm-hmm.
I said, when you leave the house, you take that risk every day. And I was like, but I am not that type of person. So for you, I said, I believe you already have a misconception of who you think I am and what you think I do. And I said, I'm sorry to disappoint you. I said, but I am a mechanical engineer and I actually have a big girl job and I make big girl money. and I pay big girl bills. So I'm sorry to disappoint you, but where you're trying to put me in this little section
Mhm.
doesn't exist. And it was one of those things where I was like, and if there's no other questions or assumption, I believe this call is finished. Thank you, gentlemen, for your time. But I must apologize that I have to take my leave.
Ooh,
And
I like
I
how you close that. That was
exited
good.
it out and literally get an email the next day from this guy that like tried to rip me apart on this and was like, I'm so sorry. I had a whole, different thing and I didn't mean to take that tone with you. And I was just like, and never replying to you.
Yeah. Yes, you did.
Oh, yeah,
Absolutely did.
100% malicious.
Yeah, that was
100%
totally malicious.
malicious. It's like if you think you're going to put me in a corner and you think I'm going to tell
Start
you what
crying.
you want so you get it, buddy, my phantom dick is bigger than you. You can kindly and ever so kindly fuck right off that cliff.
Yeah.
Because I don't give two fucks. And I like to know what this gentleman thinks of going to comic conventions now that are supposed to be family friendly.
Oh, yeah.
And you've got people wearing pasties. You've got people with a whole clam out.
Oh, I mean,
like you've got guys wearing full body suits of like these costumes without wearing a cup. So you see the outline of the Dickie and the kids, so like, nope, nope.
Well, it's super interesting too, how with the rise of anime and a lot of that, you started to see like more of those costumes, because a lot of anime costumes, there's not a whole lot to those, right?
No, there's not. But it's one of those where I believe that he was just kind of one of those individuals that saw anime completely separate and was just like, comics are comics.
I see.
Comics
so he
are
was
comics.
you thought he was gatekeeping?
He was
gatekeeping. Oh, okay.
He was so gatekeeping because he was like, these are my comics. This is my childhood.
My sacred childhood.
How dare you come in here with your thoughtness? How dare you come in here? Like, he's like all self-righteous, Pope Benedict. Like, he literally, thought he had a dick. Like, it just, you don't do that. Like, first of all, like if you knew that about a person, that's a conversation you have outside of things.
Right.
That's not something that you corner someone over with a misconception over someone you know nothing about other than a photo, bro.
Yeah. So that left a bad taste in your mouth then. You were just like, no, I'm not going to do this.
I was like, oh, okay. So first of all, I'm probably nerdier than this guy. I mean, by far, if you can't tell by this room, this is definitely, I'm so sorry to disappoint those who are listening. I am not a poser, unlike 98% of the other people in class. Let me just leave that death notebook here.
Wow. For a future podcast.
Yeah. Cunty. So I was like, I'm not a poser. And like, you're going to have to come to bat with some serious shit, bro. I got 5 brothers and 5 uncles. I'm going to fuck you up. Like, and when I get done with this nerd shit, then I'm going to break down the Mopar generation of cars and I'm going to fuck you up again because I'm also a certified MIG welder. Suck it. So yeah, no, podcasting, like any type of interviews, I'm always like, no.
So this is a pretty big deal then.
Kinda. Yeah. That's why I texted you. I said, what am I supposed to wear for this podcast? Because like we're also filming it, so I'm going to be on camera. And you're like, wear whatever. And I'm like, what does one wear to a podcast?
I know. She sent me a text and told me that. She's like, what does one wear to a podcast? And I'm sitting there going,
I've never done this.
Wear whatever you want. It's okay. It's a podcast.
I have no idea. And like those that have been following me, they're probably like, she brought up the unicorn.
Yeah, the unicorn. Let's go.
So this unicorn Kigo is kind of a staple thing. So like right before COVID, I want to say like 2018, maybe like into 2019, I did a bunch of ridiculous videos. I mean, stuff to like the Benny Hill, like straight up comedy. Because
in the unicorn.
In this one, yeah, there's so many stains on this. Like I went rolling down a hill. I actually got slammed into an Olympic-sized swimming pool. So there was this whole thing with this onesie, this whole skit reference where I had this big ass beach ball. I mean, this thing was a motherfucker big. It was like size of a fat kid in Kmart, but like it was like so big. And I had people purposely like, okay, so this is what I'm doing. You're gonna chuck the ball at me when I don't even know it. And I had like these type of sunglasses on where I couldn't see out of the peripheral.
And you're just walking.
So like I'd be doing things like whatever, and they would chuck the ball, and I wouldn't know where it was coming from.
Oh my God.
And so like I got slammed to a pool. I went down like this huge hill, like rolling down.
You got knocked down.
Oh, dude, I got fucked up. Because I'm also wearing these shoes, these rainbow like metallic shoes that have like
are they platforms?
They have a platform.
Oh my God.
And
Ireland, what are you doing, dude?
like there's still stains on here. And like I literally, so I couldn't run. And they're one of those platforms where it's not a wedge, it's just like straight like Kiss shoes. Like they're just ridiculous. And they're pink, and I just don't wear pink. And so I already don't know what to do when I'm wearing them. And so yeah, like oh God, it was so bad. But it was so funny. So everyone's like, bring back the unicorn onesie. And I actually wore it to like Emerald City Comic Con, and like Jess went around like taking the most ridiculous photos with people in this like onesie, just so like I just wanted to have fun with people, It's like, because I had never been to like a comic convention until like 2013. So it's just like one of those things where it's like, dude, I want to be around like-minded people, like
Right.
I fuck this drama, fuck this poser bullshit. Like I'm a fucking nerd. Like nobody ever gets a chance to see my personality because, oh, she's so intimidating. She's such a villain. She's a cock. Smile more.
Well, I think it's also because you have maintained this era of professionalism.
Well,
right?
I had to. Not only do I have to maintain a sense of professionalism, from the time I get to the airport to go to a convention to the time I get back to that airport of the returning airport to get in the car to go home, I'm 100% professional the whole time.
Right.
Because you don't know who's going to spot you. You don't know anything. And I have to maintain that because of my full-time job.
Right.
So I have to be super strict with things, and I can't be laissez-faire like normal people can, just because of the severity and the importance of my normal job. Right. So it was just one of those things where I didn't have a choice. And unfortunately, a lot of people associate it with is she isn't personable. She is an asshole. She's
arrogant.
Yeah, super arrogant. People think I'm arrogant. So when I crack a joke, because I was raised by men, like my mom is so manly, like she a broad girl through and through. They're like, did that come out of your fucking mouth? I was
like, you just talk about your mom? Yeah, I did.
I'm like, I was like, it didn't come out of my mouth, but your mom's going in it later.
Oh, like, Lord have mercy.
Surprise. Your mom's busy. You better talk to her now. It was just one of those things that were like, what? And I'm like, oh, you have no idea. So it's just funny because, now this whole other side gets to, see this and dive in and be like, half the people are going, what the fuck is she going to say? Am I in that book? Oh my God. Like pissing down their leg because they know I'm going to call them out. And then there's people that are like, this one has a fucking personality. Surprise. And you know what's crazy? Majority of cosplayers and costume designers don't. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm not afraid of, when Instagram was like, oh, we're going to reels instead of photos. Okay, bring it.
Make it. It's fine.
Bring it. I did 9 years of theater. You don't think I have a personality? Buckle up, Buttercup.
Maybe you should get some of those unicorn videos that you had and put them up on TikTok. We'll put them up on TikTok.
I don't even know. I think I put like one up there, but I don't.
We'll put them up on our channel. That'd be really funny. I would love that. I mean, now that you're in the unicorn, you started it. She started it. I
even had stickers made.
I love it.
With the beach ball behind me. I kid you not.
Oh, that is amazing.
Like, and I was being like, oh, I'm irresistible, Eerie, the unicorn. So I did the irresistible Eerie. So they're on this, like, there was this whole thing to it. And it was at the time where Vine was dying, like it was dead, and TikTok hadn't kicked off yet. So I was just kind of like, hoping it would go on Instagram. And then, when my main page originally got attacked, when I had like 300,000 people on it, so went those videos. So
right. You lost them all.
I mean, I have them. They're somewhere.
Well, if you can dig them
up,
I think it'll be. Our fans would love to see them. The fans would love to see them, right? Unicorn.
Humor,
Yes.
humor.
So you said that your first convention was in 2013?
2013.
Now, was that your first convention
Period.
dressing up?
No, period. I didn't even know anything existed.
Oh, okay.
So you have to think, like, where I was raised was like, you guys don't love this terminology, bumfuck nowhere, Missouri. And what I mean by that, like, we call it where the hoots and the hollers are.
The hoots and the hollers.
Because
there ain't nothing out there.
Nope. It is so rural. It's so rural.
Rural.
That the only light that you get at night is the moon and the pole light. And you're thinking, for those of you who know, you're like, that's country as fuck, because you know what a pole light is. For those of you who are in the city that have no idea what a pole light is, I'm about to educate you.
Do it.
So for the houses that are on gravel roads or literally in the middle of nowhere, it could be like a 2-lane blacktop. You get a pole, like a pole light, and it's basically, as it is, a pole that's up past your house. It's pretty freaking tall, and it has a light that emanates like, hey, there's a house here.
Oh, damn.
So it's to tell like anyone who's like flying or any like emergency services at the time. Back in the day, it was be like, oh, there's a house here. Oh, there's someone living here because there's electricity going here. Like, so it's, because I mean, it black. Like,
so how
you
far
can't see anything.
was your nearest neighbor? Were they like pretty far away?
The nearest neighbor growing up was at least like 2 miles down the road. Like for us to go to the grocery store is like 45 minutes.
To get groceries.
Yeah, like that's on a good day. Like we were so rural, like on the farm, that we had our own gas tanks. So we would actually have, like, for the farm equipment, because I lived on a livestock and agriculture farm, a large production one. We would actually have these tanks that were up off the ground that had like, the same nozzle and stuff that you would at a gas station. And we'd have some for diesel, for the equipment, and we would have for the farm vehicles or for our vehicle. Like we would use it for like the weed eaters, the lawnmowers, all that time, because that's it.
Yeah, you're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, for like the first 5 years of my life, we actually had a whole water. Like we had no running water, no electricity in the house.
You had a well?
No. We had a haul of water. So you actually have like a water tank in the back of a truck, like usually like a flatbed, and you'll strap it down, and then you go in and you got to buy the water from the water company. Wow. And you got to drive it back. Dang. and store it.
So what brought the country girl to the city?
Right?
What happened there? Like,
signed my life away. Signed my life away. I took a job out there, and it was a shell shock. It really was. Like, I mean, in order for me to go like to the bookstore from where I used to live, it was a 2-hour and 45-minute drive to go to Barnes and Noble.
Damn, that's a day.
So
take a whole Saturday.
That's not traffic. That's just road. That's distance. That's like 186 miles. Like it's a trek, right? Just to go to fucking Barnes and Noble, bro. Can you imagine that? That's before they actually. This is before anyone delivered. Like, let's not date myself, but like. That stuff is all fairly new.
Right. But I mean, even if they're, think
about it. Even when people
were
fair is all I had.
Even when people were delivering, I mean, it probably took forever to get anything delivered to your place.
Ancient.
Yeah.
Oh, ancient. Easy. And then we had 3/4 of a mile lane. So when everyone's like, oh, I had to walk in the cold and the snow, bro, you ain't seen shit. So you're trying to walk up this holy gravelly road, fucking driveway.
You're like, I made it home, but it's still like, 3/4 of a mile down that way.
Right. But like, so when you're waiting for the bus, in the dead ass fucking winter, dude, I'm hiding behind hay bales. Like the rolled hay bales that we had like alongside the driveway. Yeah. I'm like digging myself in between 2 bales. And that's where I would wait to get out of the wind. Because where we were, we got the Canadian jet stream, like the winds that would come down and nip everything. So when I'm saying it was like -22 below, it fucking was -22 below.
Wind chill.
Like, the only thing compete with that's, like, made in upstate New York. Like, it was fucking cold. So, as a kid, like, you're stuck up there, and the bus was hardly ever on time.
Dang.
So, yeah.
It's a lot.
It's a hard knock life for us. So, yeah, it was definitely interesting upbringing. Definitely for sure.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so my first con, so I didn't even know any of this existed. So, when we finally got the appropriate amenities in the house, right? We got all that done because I had very young parents. So, you know, they were pretty hard to start with. And sorry, I didn't grow up with nepoism. Okay. And my parents weren't, you know, in some situation where they were loaded. So that didn't work
Your
either.
parents weren't in a cult, though, were they?
No, thank God.
Okay. 'Cause out the country. You
No.
know? No. Okay.
No.
Cool.
Now you got me scared thinking that there's a cult. Nope. The only cult out there I know is Redneckville. So. I mean, it's not Arkansas. Nobody's marrying their sisters and brothers and cousins, but
That they know of.
I don't know, man. Some of it I think probably could be third cousins. I mean, they still require a blood test before you get married.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, you know what? Safety, right?
I don't know, man. Have you seen some of the kids today? I think that was a little too close to home on that tree. Not a lot of branches on that motherfucker.
Have you done 23andMe?
I have.
Yeah. Did you find any surprises in 23andMe?
I found a lot. Hold up.
Okay. Sorry. I don't want to take you off on a tangent.
Hold up. We talked about Comic-Cons here. But
Okay.
Let's get back here. So, first Comic-Con was in 2013. I had no idea these were even a thing. This is before like social. I didn't have social media. I didn't do any of that. Like I had like a MySpace page, but I was more excited about doing the little GIFs and
All right.
the animations. And I was so you could put music on that shit. But I actually didn't have anything like that. Like if I had, oh God, if I was on the computer for anything, it was to play EverQuest.
Yeah, EverQuest. Get on that 28.8 modem.
Oh, God. On dial-up, bro. On dial-up. You know what it's like trying to wait to go on a raid when you're waiting for people to show up on fucking dial-up?
Or you're waiting for that ringtone, and then you're like, oh, it's connected. Oh, damn. The kids these days, they
have no idea.
They're just like, what? What are you talking about?
They have no idea. Don't even talk about that. So, I mean, I wasn't on it. You know, I was so busy doing things. I mean, I was working full-time in high school. I was doing things. Dude, I was already planning to take over the world. When I was 14, I already had goals set, already was doing shit. It just, social media, just doing anything like the AOL, Messenger, any of that stuff. MySpace, Facebook, none of that interests me. It still doesn't. Like I post and ghost, which, you know, you're not supposed to do, but man, I just can't with a lot of these things. And people will nitpick you to death, and we'll talk about that. I've got some interesting stories for this one. So to be continued. And I didn't even know it was a thing. And it was like, so how I got back into Comic-Cons was I had some friends that did the Royal Navy exchange program. So they were in the Navy. With the U.S. Navy, they did the Royal Fleet exchange.
Okay.
So it's where someone from, you know, the UK Royal Fleet switches and and they switch swap. And anyway, them and their spouse got stationed in Nova Scotia, in Halifax. Love Nova Scotia. Love Halifax. It's just delightful. And so we were up there, and it was like a full D&D nerd session, watched Game of Thrones, played D&D. It was just, with this community, it was great. We went to this, I think it was like Geeks versus Nerds Con is what it was. And it was just this back of this room at this shop. And it was just like, they had these little vendors set up, and, you know, they had steampunk stuff and, you know, corsets and stuff. And I got some things, God knows that's probably not going to fit. And a bunch of other things. And it was so cool seeing them like, oh, this is kind of cool. It's kind of like a little farmer's nerd market. It's pretty cool. You know, it was like, that's cool. Somebody was selling like their version of a comic they tried to do, you know, and I was like, okay, this is cool. Well, then down the street from where these guys were staying, there's a thing called the Monster Lounge. Which, shout out to Mike and the Monster. I love this place. It's got like a whole section for minis that you can do. There's actually D&D like sessions there. I think they probably still have they do like Warhammer now. There was just like that much stuff. They had like all these comics and stuff. So we went there like one day to check it out. Absolutely loved it. I had picked up some like things like Zenscope here and there, just because I liked the whole badass version of the fairy tales, because the Grimm brothers didn't make the Disney, fantasy versions of shit. It was pretty actually fucking dark. And so that's what I like. I don't like the, oh, what was me, damsel in distress, save me. Fuck that shit. Give me a sword. Because I'm gonna go kill a motherfucker with another motherfucker. So that's like the whole thing I went to. And I picked up some trade backs and stuff, and there was one on there. It was like Grimm Fairy Tales number of like trade back number 5. It had Belinda on it. She was kind of like the Red Queen,
right?
The badass version of it.
Ooh, yeah.
And so Mike was like, the owner was like, you need to put this on Twitter. And I was like, say what? What the fuck is that?
What is a Twitter?
What is a Twitter? And he was like, social media. And I'm like, first of all, social, not interested. Media is already going to be biased, not interested. And he's like, trust me, just do. I was like, so he literally showed, like, we started a Twitter account. He's like, tags it. He took the photo. He's like, here, we're going to tag Zenscope, type the caption, show me these hashtag things. I did this. So I go back home and I've been making like themeware, doing all this other stuff, kind of just on the side, just side hobby, just to kind of de-stress from the daily job, because you need a hobby.
Sure.
Especially in the field that I was, which was high stress, high pressure.
Right.
You needed an outlet. And I'm just not the type of person to run to drugs. And God knows I have a high tolerance all the fucking wall. So alcohol is not the solution either, according to my bank and my organs. So I gave that up years ago.
Our organs have been consulted, and no, it's not a thing.
They were like, no. Because my mom also has a super high tolerance, and so does my grandfather. So it's not even anything to fuck with that. So I was like, okay. And so my friend Sydney at the time, she was helping me make this themeware and stuff. And she's like, she was running kind of the media shit for this, to like, for the competitors, posting her shit. She was doing that for a little side company. So I said, Sydney, honey, I need help with this. Can you post? Well, I don't know what to post on Twitter. And she's like, post some of these things that you're making. So that's what I did. 2 weeks go by and she's like, you've got a DM in Twitter. I'm like, from who? And she's like, Zenscope? And I was like, what? So I look at it. It was from Zenscope. And it was the marketing director who was like, hey, I saw that you read our comics and you make costumes. Can you make some costumes for some girls we have working our booth at a convention?
Like booth babes?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
like
that's
old school. I mean, because that's
all they are. They're glorified beer girls, like glorified Corona.
Beer.
The girls when they're always passing out free
promo
shots.
Girls.
Promo girls. That's what it is. That's what we're calling them, right? Okay, so I mean, because I had booked like the Monster Girls and stuff, for like motocross and stuff, because I was helping friends with that out on the side, so I knew how that worked. Because I'm always dabbling in other shit, right? Don't put all your eggs in one basket, guys. We saw
Did
that
you do
work.
EDC too?
Yeah, so I mean, God, you're just pulling it out of the bank, right?
Yeah.
So I actually did a lot of choreography for Heaven and Hell events, Live Nation events, EDC, and my like co-choreographer captain, girlfriend at the time, like she was doing it with me as well. So we were making the girls as costumes for that.
So costumes and choreography.
Yeah,
so you're still rolling in costumes.
Yeah, still rolling in this stuff. And I learned to make costumes for my grandmother as a kid. So we were poor, so you had to improvise. So we made
your own clothes.
We had a lot of shit made out of tablecloths. Let me tell you what. Tablecloths, curtains, old sheets.
I need something for Christmas. Bring the tablecloth. Right? I got you. Bring the red one. We're gonna make you dress right quick.
I kid you not. That's what she did, man. I got tired of that tartan plaid. Anyway,
it's a picnic dress. No, it's a Christmas dress. It's fine.
I can show you. Did we eat on that last year, Grandma? No.
Yeah. See, there's a stain right here that you can't get out.
This is where Grandpa spilt the gravy. So many innuendos can go there. Is what she said. Anyway, that's what she said. Why is it brown and sticky?
Oh no!
Anyway, so I was like, yeah, sure. He sent over the measurements. And I was thinking like convention, like, they have like Weight Watchers convention, Cohen convention.
Yeah, like a serious convention, right?
like CES.
Insurance convention.
Well, I thought it was like CES or something. Yeah. So I was like, okay, it's like one of those. And I didn't even think anything of it, right? Again, don't use social media. So I had no idea. Go out in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, you really don't know. And so I've been playing video games my whole life, because once we got amenities at the house, and my dad's first thing was like, straight to the Nintendo. And,
go to the Nintendo.
We were doing that kind of thing. And so it was, I've been growing up playing RPGs, JRPGs my whole life. So, it's like super cool. And fighting games, but we're not going to talk about that. And racing games. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Another podcast.
Yeah, another podcast. So we were doing this stuff, and I was making these costumes. And literally, so Steve, I called him Scuba Steve because he was about like
Scuba Steve. What a nickname, right? Yeah, what's up, Scuba Steve?
And so he reached out to me, and he was like, the day before I was supposed to drop these costumes out in LA, because it was like Stanley's Kamikaze at this time.
Oh, Stanley. Yeah, I remember that because he did Kamikaze, and then it turned into LA Comic Con or something.
Yep. Right? And so, because I had like the little octopus.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, he's like, one of the girls dropped out. Can you fill in? I'm like, this dude doesn't even know what I look like. Like, yeah, okay. So I showed up on a Friday, a couple hours before it starts. I met outside, got the badge, walked in. And you never forget your first experience at a Comic-Con. You never forget it. There's always a first where you're like, it just sticks with you. And like, that's a memory I'm always going to like have forever. And I remember walking through the doors and I was like, holy fuck, this is real. There's no fucking way that enough people like the same shit I do, because I was bullied horribly in school. I was fat and I was like into this shit that nobody was into. I didn't do Barbies, I didn't do any of that shit. So I got brutally like bullied. And I'm like, there's no way this many people can literally like the same shit I do. This is a lie. I was like, at this time, like
somebody's pranking me.
Well, I thought like Punk'd had been like, it had been gone for like, I don't even know if it was still played. Like Ashton Kutcher was like at the end. And I was like, dude, I'm on a retro episode of Punk'd. Like someone's gonna come out and be like, haha, fuck you, psych. And like, I'm gonna get swirling in the bathroom. Like, this is what I thought it was gonna turn into. And I just remember walking in there and was like, okay, holy fuck. And then when people started coming in, like, and I'm dressed as, I was like, this shit's cool. How many fucking gamer tags can I get? I need people to game with.
I need friends. Give me friends.
I need friends, please. And so I was like, this is super fucking cool. And then people were coming up to the booth, and I knew about like the comics and the stories. So I was like, that's my job, was to kind of be like, hey, I'm dressed as this character. It's in this. This is pretty badass. This is why, basically, like selling the product, which I was already like, this comics is not gonna be that hard because I love this shit. And people were like, oh, I love your costume. Did you make it? And I was like, yeah. And they were like, that's badass. Do you have an Instagram? And I'm like, a what?
You have an Insta. What is that? What is an Insta?
I'm like,
Insta what?
I'm like, but I have a Twitter. I'm like, because at the time, Twitter was like the stepchild. Nobody wanted to like.
Remember with Facebook was the thing. Everybody posted.
I didn't have that either. So I was like, I don't have Instagram. Like, so I literally had to make one for that Friday night. And then I'm like, okay, yeah, I guess I could say it. And like, I just had it, and it was just at Ireland Reed, which RIP that poor account.
That was your OG account.
Yeah.
The one that got up to like 300,000 followers.
It was like the official Ireland Reed. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It got 8. Well, yeah, no, that was the Ireland Reed one that got 8, and the official one got 8 right after that.
Right.
Yeah. Because somebody likes to keep mass reporting it.
Oh, in the book. Ooh, we have some stories about that too.
We got a lot of it. You might as well pull out the damn tiara because it's gonna get a little cunty in here.
I like what you said. I like what you said about the first convention, like remembering what your first convention was. Mine was, it was in the 90s. It was in the mid 90s.
You're really dating yourself here. Do you want to go down this road?
Yeah. Let's go down this road.
All right. Just as long as you know.
Just because there's like a nostalgia thing, right? And it was a convention was called OrcCon, and it was President's Day weekend.
Like orcs?
Or it was just called OrcCon.
That's I was like a bottle of orcs,
and
right?
And I didn't know what kind of convention it was, right? So I roll in there.
Orc.
I roll in there, and it was incredible, right? Because they had people that were playing Magic, they had people that were playing Warhammer, they had people that were playing like these air dogfighting games where these
Yeah, yeah,
planes
yeah,
were
yeah,
on
yeah.
like, and they would just measure and like what is all of this? This is incredible. Like I'd never been to a place like that. And then they're like, oh, you want to sign up for a D&D game? I'm like, fuck yeah, I want to sign up for a D&D game. And this convention went on 24 hours, so it was like you were playing
Holy
D&D
crap.
late at night.
Well, yeah,
So
some campaigns take forever.
yeah, they take forever.
Days.
But they had pre-made ones. You know, they had ones that you could sign up and start a level 1 character.
Mm.
So I was just like, holy shit, there's these people like me that are at this convention and I could play whatever and nobody cares. Everybody's having a really, really good time. And then, and I still remember this,
It's kind of like me when I went to my first LAN.
I was poor as right? So I didn't have a whole lot of money going in there. And there was this dude and he had this gambling game that he had rigged, right? So if you roll, he gave you, it was $5. You roll 3, if you roll 3 sixes, you get whatever the prize is, right?
Oh, no pressure.
And the prize was a mock sapphire at that point, okay?
Oh.
So I was like, you know what? I'm going to win this. I put $5 in. First roll, nothing. Second roll, nothing. Third roll, 3 sixes. And he couldn't believe it. Dude was like, holy shit, how am I going to get another one? I'm like, I don't know, but this one's mine. So I grabbed it. I went to the vendor hall. I sold it. And I paid for my entire weekend with it. I bought all kinds of shit, dude. I was buying stuff because I sold a Mox, dude. I was like, fuck yeah, it was amazing,
dude. That's ridiculous.
One of the interesting parts about that was it was like midnight and we were chilling because we were going to start another D&D game.
Right.
And we're sitting outside, and then all of a sudden these people dressed in Victorian outfits started. Like I'm asking my buddy Jason, is my best friend. I'm known as priest. I'm like, what the fuck are those people, dude? I've never seen them. And they all have accent. They're talking in accents, and they're like, "Oh yeah, those are the vampire people. Like they were playing vampire in the main ballroom."
Oh, that's sick.
And I was like, "Dude, what?" Like, there's this whole other group of people outside of just all the people that are currently in the. I feel like
just gotta go to a vampire ball now.
Oh no, now I want to go to a vampire ball.
Like,
we should go to a vampire ball and film in a vampire ball. That would be amazing.
Cool.
But that was so cool. It was such a great experience, and it kind of kept me wanting to go to conventions.
That's crazy. We've been sitting here talking about this stuff, but we never actually told people like how we know each other.
Ooh,
like for those that have been following us know that like you do like a lot of the cosplay photography and stuff for me, but like how the fuck do I know you? I mean, for all these people know that are just tuning in now, you could have been like some Amazon guy that like dropped a package. I kidnapped you and I threw you into this room.
You did. I can't escape. I'm sorry. I'm under duress.
You will never leave. I need friends.
Yeah, no, but that's a good story.
Once if you're safe, blink twice.
I'm blinking a lot. Help me, please, God. No, make it stop. I don't want to live in the plush anymore.
Right?
Yeah, I mean that's actually a pretty good story of how we ended up getting together.
Just kind of like roughly, I'll just summarize it because we can go on forever about it. The time that I got into cosplay, because I already was in a professional job, already was doing that for quite some time. I went into it like a professional mindset because I was making costumes, like I said, for all these other businesses. So I went into it with like a business mindset. Like if I'm going to spend this much time and money, I want to get some ROI. Marketing has to be the same because that's what my master's in. So it was like all this stuff that I was doing. And unfortunately, because I was so busy doing all this other stuff, I didn't know when I was getting into it that the other people who were wearing costumes, oh God, this is so interesting, had already formed cliques. Some of them didn't know what they were wearing. So I learned really quickly. I was excited because I was like, oh, it's like Halloween every day. We're all going to dress up in our nerd shit. It's going to be fucking cool.
And you knew what you were wearing. You knew exactly what you were wearing.
I always dress up in what I know. And I would like go up to like one of the main people and she had no fucking clue. She knew the name of the character, but had no idea the backstory. And I was like, wait, what? Wait, oh, what? Why would you lie to people? And I'm, the tism was like, why are you doing that shit? Like, that makes no sense. Why are you lying to people? And it kind of set a precedent. People thought I was already unapproachable. Then they thought I was coming in and taking their job, and like pulling money from their pot. And I was like, that's not even it. Like, I'm trying to showcase costumes because I want to do commissions. Like, I'm not trying to be like, cost famous. I actually am a designer. Like, this is what I'm trying to do. Like, what I put wearable LEDs and wearable waterproof circuit boards and shit. I ain't trying to compete with your nipple flash and shit. Like,
So
you
you
know what I mean?
went,
So I went into it with a completely different
got
mindset
it.
than
That's
what
what it
all
was.
these other
Okay.
people were going for. They're looking for sugar daddies. They're looking for all this other shit. And I'm like, dude, I just want to like nerd out, make friends, and wear cool shit that I've made. Like, I went into it with a completely different mindset. And it rubbed a lot of people the wrong fucking way. And the fact that I'm very awkward in social settings because of the tism, that
You got the
I
tiz,
just
yo. She got the tiz.
they could only talk in small talk, and they didn't even know the shit that they were wearing. So I had nothing to converse with them about.
Oh, right.
So I didn't say anything
Yeah.
because
And you couldn't small talk with them
I
or anything
don't
like
small
that.
talk.
I got
It
it.
drives me. It's a
Okay.
trigger point for me. So I'm like, I'm not gonna be like, how's the weather?
So I could see how they thought you were like,
Right. They thought I was a bitch.
okay.
And so then they just started, word got around. And then a lot of like the big photographers refused to shoot me because I didn't know that I'd become nonchalant blacklisted. So they were trying to
What?
push me out as quickly as
Damn.
because they're
But you
like,
had just gotten there. You had just
they
gotten
didn't
on
want
the
me
scene.
there. They didn't want me there.
Wow.
So they were pushing me out. So I was like, the only person that was like really cool wanting to shoot with was Travis Tendo Model Mosa down in Phoenix. So literally, I would have to get off work Friday, drive down to Phoenix that night, put makeup on in the process of driving, get there at like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. We would shoot literally all the way up till early Saturday morning, sleep, take a break, just get up, like do it Saturday afternoon. We would shoot again until early Sunday morning.
Man.
And then I would get up and drive back. And so that's how I was getting like 6 costumes. Like I would just have to keep shooting back to back to back. He's the only one that would shoot me. So it was just random that here I am thinking I'm going to have to shoot my own stuff. And you DM'd me. And here I am looking at this and I'm like, this motherfucker wants to shoot. Like, and he shot all this cool shit because you got all this shit from BlizzCon, like all these other big name people that actually like legit played the shit.
Yep.
That I'm like, oh, they made this cool armor builder. Look at their Spyro. They actually knew what the fuck they were dressing up as because you could tell in the details.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And I'm like, this guy's kind of a big deal. And I was just blown away. And what really startled me was the fact because I lived so far away from like where everyone else did in San Diego and LA, like easy, like a 2 to 3 hour drive with traffic.
Easy on the freeway? Forget it, dude.
And you were like 20 minutes down the road.
Yeah, I wasn't.
Which was so crazy. And then, we shot a bunch of things, and all of a sudden you're like, peace, motherfucker, I'm out, I'm leaving. You and your family left the fucking state, and here I am. Like a little fucking dog.
Following.
Let me find a master, following you everywhere. And then here we end up in fucking Texas, of all places. And you're right down the road again.
We shot some cool shit, though. I mean, your Autumn Ivy was the first one that we shot.
We did.
And then we did Vampirella and Melina, which were
we did an
incredible.
Elsa.
Incredible. Oh, yeah. Elsa. Raver Elsa.
Yeah, we shot some cool stuff.
Darth Palin.
Yeah, and you got, that was crazy.
That was another great cosplay.
Watching the whole process of the whole body paint and all that stuff. And then you got a few comic covers out of that. Like, we didn't even know.
The Kiss Vampirella crossover comic.
The Kiss
that was
#1.
pretty
We
dope.
didn't even know that was gonna happen.
No, it just happened, and I thought that was really cool. Yeah, I'd been doing cosplay photography. Well, I started doing cosplay photography around 2012, 2013.
So kind of around the same.
Yeah,
you've been shooting forever, though.
Yeah, I've been shooting forever. I've done weddings.
I'm so sorry.
Don't do weddings unless you're really hardcore about it and masochistic and really like to hurt yourself. But I did a couple of weddings. Used to do portrait photography and stuff like that. And then, one of my friends was like, why don't you try doing cosplay stuff? Everybody's creative like you are, and they want to do cool shit. Just go ahead and do that. So I reached out to Monica Lee, who was awesome. Still is a really, really cool person. And
she's done some cool shit over there.
Done some really cool shit. And her and Ricky Lakode, who goes by Riddle. She used to go by Riddle's Messy Wardrobe, and now she's Riddle. They were going to be at San Diego Comic-Con, and this was 2013, 2014, because they were doing some stuff for Assassin's Creed.
Right. That's when they did the duo.
They
That
did the
photo
duo.
went viral.
Yeah, I shot that duo. I posted it up,
I
and
think
it just
Assassin's Creed put that on their thing. Like, because I mean,
yeah,
Ricky and Monica always did canon stuff anyway, and the
right.
fact that it just went poof.
Yeah, and then so that was a really great one, and I just enjoyed my time, and I was like, dude, there's more creative people like that out there that just want to do cool
Oh
creative
God, that
stuff.
used to be when everyone was like all about the details and
Well, there
doing
was
the
no
canon
patterns, there was
shit.
nothing. People just wanted
No.
to do it because they loved it, right?
Dude,
They
you were
loved to do
lucky
it.
if you could find, like, you were making wigs. Like, you couldn't just find wigs.
You
Like,
couldn't go buy a cosplay back then.
no,
No.
no. I mean, like, you
People were
could,
making stuff from screenshots,
yeah,
taking screenshots
that's
and
what I
making
did.
them.
That's what I still do on a lot of things to get the canon. But it was just one of those things where you just know you had like the crappy things that, just kind of like the cheesy stuff that you would find at like Walmart and things like that. But you never actually like, you would see like, you always get like the news articles and like, oh, this celebrity wore this cool costume. And you're like, that's cool. Or you watch movies and you're like, who costume designs this stuff?
Yeah, and then I remember doing a Siri cosplay with Liz Brickley,
oh
where we
gosh,
shot at the
yeah.
very top of Mount Rubidoux.
With
We hiked
Witcher.
up there. She hiked up there in that full leather outfit
Dude, there's no way. And
to
a
do that.
wig. Oh,
Yeah, and so we did that one, and then the Witcher
yeah,
the Witcher community posted that. So
that was
there
cool.
was just a lot of really, really cool stuff, and getting the opportunity to work with creative people. And then when I saw your stuff, I was like, dude, she makes some amazing stuff. Like, I definitely want to work with her. I bet she's going to be really busy. I'll just reach out and hopefully she responds. And I didn't know if you were going to respond or not, but I was like, hey, I'll put it out there and see what happens. And then boom, rest is history, right? We've done a
Right.
lot of really, really cool shit.
That's back when I actually used to check the DMs. We should have a whole stream where we just go through my DMs.
Oh my God. A DM stream? Holy shit. Can you imagine? Just it's like going through a Reddit. You're just like, oh Lord.
Sometimes when you go through it, like people that don't know me, you can definitely tell the messages they send. And I'm like, did you just come from the pit of 4chan? Because that's about the only thing action you're getting. Because this fucking shit you're posting, no.
You know what I do appreciate? I appreciate the fans that have followed us, because there's
Oh my
people that I
God.
recognize their Instagram handle. So whenever we post something, they're like, "Oh, you guys are back. You guys are
Yeah,
doing stuff."
they
I'm
really
like,
see it
"I
on
remember
Twitter.
you. I
They see
remember
it.
you."
Some of these people have been following me since day one.
Yeah, that's so
Since
amazing. That's
day
so cool.
one.
I love all of you guys. You guys
You guys rock. And
are
every
amazing.
time I'm like, I'm doing a new thing. I'm doing a new thing. They're like, okay, let's go. And I'm like, dude, that's legit. Like that, someone that has appreciation for the art that I do as far as like the costume making is amazing, to the point where like, that really like join in the streams, that get on the Twitch, that, actually to use their time at a convention to come over and just say hi. Like, dude, that means the world to me.
Oh
It
yeah.
really does, because like you can't get that time back. And the fact that you're taking that time that nobody can buy back to come over and say hi to me, or to be like, hey, I liked when you did this detail. This is rad. I mean, dude, mad respects. Like, I fucking appreciate that shit so much. Like,
Yeah.
because I could give a fuck if you like me or not. You like my art? I mean, that's cool. Did I do the character justice? Because I love this fucking character. Did I nail it? Did I nail Melina from Mortal Kombat 9?
Oh,
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
did you nail Vampirella? Absolutely.
eh,
Yeah, she nailed Vampirella.
So, but it's just like, yeah, I appreciate that. I
Yeah,
really do.
I love it too. I love people
So-
that appreciate that.
We decided to take the next step, because God knows I still got a fuck ton of cosplays to shoot. But, it's just something that, dude, there's just so much to talk about in this whole field. Death Note notebook of Spy Secrecy for the last decade aside. But like the weekly trend stuff, like there's just so much. And I just don't think that people have actually got ability to know us
No.
outside of our photos. So
And I think as we go along with, each episode, they'll get to know us a little bit
Surprise,
more and more.
motherfucker.
They get to know a little bit about, the inside part of our life, like the stuff that happens.
The
with
fucking
us,
chaos.
The chaos sometimes, right? Like there's a lot.
I
There's a
feel
lot.
like Cujo is on my ass 24/7. Oh, bitch! You think you're out of the safe zone? Chomp, 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 chomp. Mm.
But that's why we decided to do this podcast. I think it's the next step for us. And we're going to keep making cool, creative content. We're still going to be doing that.
Fuck yeah!
But we'll get to also
Because
debut it here too,
I have
right?
a lot of villains.
Oh, The villain. You do not do princess as well.
Fuck that shit.
No. Maybe an alternative princess or something like that.
No.
Not your thing.
It's not my thing. Like, so in theater, like doing 9 years of theater, like it's always the villain. Like, because I feel like villains always have the backstory, like the juicy details, but they've always had some type of hardship that has kind of made, like, give them their viewpoint on how they see things.
So are we villains then? Because we've had a lot of hardship.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, okay, so cool. I can't relate to the nepoism that falls into princesses, or like, my daddy's such and such. I get 10 grand in the bank a month, regardless of what I do. I can't get down with that. I don't live that lifestyle. I'm in touch with reality. I'm not out of touch with reality. So, and my full-time job kind of gives me more insight to the fuckery of everything going on than I would like. For the sake of staying alive, I'm not going to say anything else.
Yes.
We
need you alive.
Well, that's debatable.
Some people would like you dead, I'm sure.
Oh, of course they do.
That's another story.
Good luck. I'm still here, motherfucker, and I'm just going to touch the notebook. Your time is coming. But it's, I have the patience of a tiger. And the heart of a predator. So get ready. Yeah. So, yeah, I think this is just the next step for us to do. And we take this to cons, take this walking around. Like, we have a bunch of guests lined out. We have quite a few things to do. We're going to touch all things from
I'm super excited for the guest list.
Yeah.
There's some incredible people that we're going to be talking to.
We're going to hit everything. We're going to talk about comics. We're going to talk about TCG, like trading cards. For those of you who don't know what TCGs are, like Pokemon and Magic.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
I'm trying to go with basis so we don't throw people out here. Like some common things that they probably passed in the Happy Meal, okay?
The Happy Meal. They pass it. You get in the Happy Meal? Yes, I know it.
We're not talking about Beanie Babies, okay? But we've got a lot of video games. We're going to talk about different conventions.
Yep.
You know, we've got all the different animes and mangas and that sort of thing. So we're just kind of going to dabble in a little bit of everything.
And also you get to know a lot more about us.
Dip our toes in, air viewpoints.
Yeah, it'd be amazing.
If you want to. If that tickles your fancy.
Oh, yeah. And so how do you reach us?
Oh, boy. Don't touch me. No. It's a trigger. We have a Discord. So we're going to be doing a Discord channel. So you guys, if there's something you want us to cover, if there's things you want us to answer, we're going to be doing that. Plus also on the Discord, it'll take you to our links such as our TikTok, our Instagram, our X or Twitter.
Oh, yeah. Twitter.
And all that stuff. I Tweeter. Hit us at our Twitter. And a lot of that other stuff. So yeah, there'll be a lot of avenues where you will find us.
Well, thanks, guys.
We're going to be in your brain like a mind flare.
I like that reference. That was really cool. I like how you did that. I'm going to be in your brain like a mind flare.
You'd be insane in the membrane. There's your insane clown posse.
Thanks for joining our first episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Stay tuned for the next one, which is going to be...
We're going to be doing our What's Trending Weekly. So that'll be dropping on Monday for you for the week of September 16th, followed by more juicy goodness every Friday of random things. And we might just be pulling things out weekly from this Death Notebook. So
let's go.
I hope you bought the scones because I brought all the tea.
And we'll end it on that note.
And it's going to be a party.
Thanks, guys.
Peace.